Welcome back. It's Monday. It's time for magic. Let's crack some packs. Oh yes, look at that. We do have the keyword counters. Here we go. So we talked about that in, what was it? The pre-release edition, I believe. So these counters, they are punchable, and when you get an opportunity to put them on your creatures, they act as quite a nice placeholder for those abilities. Good stuff. So for this pack, we're going to talk through each card at a time and hopefully end up with one pick out of the whole pack being the best card in the booster. So first up, we have Wilt. Destroy target artifact or enchantment, cycling for 2. Naturalize is a pretty decent card in Limited, and stapling on this cycling clause, it gives you so much more versatility and options. If you don't have a target, just cycle it away for 2 and you can draw a card. You can't complain with that. Definitely the best card so far. Frostveil Ambush. This is quite an expensive card if you are casting it, but it works well if you are in a cycling build because of that cycling cost of 1. It's not going to beat our Wilt. Go for Blood. I mentioned this in the last episode of our Magic Mondays. Target creature you control fights another target creature you don't control, cycling for 1. This is a great versatile card. It fits in the cycling build, and even if you're just in a green or red, Gruul mainly, those colours you'll be aiming for, fight target creature you don't control with your biggest monster. Nice piece of removal. Next up, we have Maned Serval. It's not a bad rate for 2 mana, 1/4 Vigilant. That is a total of 5 power and toughness for 2 with a keyword. That is not half bad, but in terms of potentially removing and the versatility with the cycle, we are going to go for Blood. Mutual Destruction. As long as you control a permanent with Flash, this also gains Flash. I think it was Bone Splinters is the one that you can sacrifice a creature and destroy a target creature. This has the rare potential of being instant speed, and that would make it very playable. Otherwise, you don't want to be playing this in a deck where you've got lots of big creatures because you have to get rid of one essentially. If you're playing in an aristocrat build which lends itself to be in the black colours, then you don't mind trading one of your smaller creatures with a larger creature. Not going to beat out Go for Blood though. Mosscoat Goriak. This is a pretty good mutate target, and 3 mana for a 2/4 Vigilant. Well, it's only £1 more than the main Serval, so if we're not considering the main Serval, then it's not going to beat the Go for Blood. Right, okay, Dreamtail Heron. This is a pretty good card. Each time you mutate it, draw a card. That is definitely going to be in one of the considerations because not only is the mutate ability pretty decent, it's also a 3/4 flyer, which is great and limited. Plummet, yes, I was talking about flying being great and limited, but you don't want to be generally main boarding Plummet, maybe in game 2, and once you've realised that your opponent is playing lots of flyers, then it could be included. Memory Leak, not too bad. I generally don't like playing these in Limited. There's not as many huge bombs to be targeted by this. The cycling does make it better if you need to be searching for your own answers, but generally I would not play these. Ooh, Pacifism. I do like Pacifism. This is essentially a 2 mana less Capture Sphere that enchants a target creature and it can attack or block. It doesn't remove the abilities, so if they have any triggered abilities or mutate abilities, then they can still do that. But Pacifism is a great card in Limited, definitely something to consider. Next up, in Doubt for Crystal, not too bad. I like these cycles, but unless you're playing those colours, you're not really going to be picking this. Maybe in pack 3 or 4 on the second round of draft, then you might be considering this pick to supplement those colours, but you wouldn't pick it first pack. Okay, Skull Prophet. We have a 3/1 Human Druid for 2 mana, which is a pretty good rate. That also counts for a Mana Dork and a Self-Miller. The versatility on this card is pretty decent, so it's going to be one to consider. Ooh, and nice, a Porcupine. Alternative artwork as well. This deals more damage each time you've mutated it. Pingers, they tend to be annoying. You could keep this up as a blocker and then at the end of your opponent's turn tap it to deal some damage. This is going to be a consideration as well. So onto our rare. Ooh, nice. So a Whirlwind of Thought. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, draw a card. So you do have to be in the Jeskai colours for this one to work. And because of that narrow selection, I don't think we're going to pick this one for our pack. The first time that we're not going to consider rare. However, if you are in those colours, it is pretty decent. This with Narset and the overall non-creatures themes in these colours has potential to draw you a lot of cards. Okay, so out of these picks, thinking of the impact in games, this is quite a tough pick. I do love that alternative artwork of the Porcupine, but I think the Dreamtail Heron has more of an impact with the flying. Skull Prophet only really lends itself if you're playing in those colours and you're running a self-mill theme. So just thinking about the accessibility of you playing all of these cards, I think we're going to stick with a monocoloured card. If this is your first pick, it really depends on your preference for those colours. I have said the versatility of Go for Blood is really decent with the cycling. So making a decision out of the 3, it would have to be based on my experiences in Limited and which card has done the most damage. And while the Dreamtail Heron and the Pacifism could very much be a pick from this booster pack, I'm going to Go for Blood just because of the versatility. Having that cycling clause means if you don't have a use for it, or you don't have a creature that you can fight another creature, then you can just cycle it away. The other 2 don't have that, and when you do have that chance, it can act as a really fine piece of removal. That's my pick from this pack. If you agree with me, write a little comment. If you don't, also write a little comment. Which card would you choose? A lot of decent options from this one and some nice alternative artwork for you included. Thanks for joining in. Until the next time, cheers.